Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Here Be Dragons. I am your host, Stephen Stark, doing a terrible Wednesday impression. Today, we're going to be talking about Wednesday, and we got Nessie back with us today. So, Nessie, it's nice to see you again. How you doing, sis?
No, it's doing good, doing good. Glad to be here, brother. Enjoying it.
Yeah, I really wish you were going to be here next week too, but
I can't be here every week. Now, that makes it more special when I am here.
right, exactly. Like we love it when we get Nessie. We miss you when you're not here, but you got one of those jobs where you have to work every other weekend, so it is what it is.
Yeah, it sucks.
One of those jobs that somebody has to be doing basically 24/7, and that means you sometimes. But glad to have you here for this one. We both watched the whole series.
Mhm.
You know how we usually do. We're going to start from the top down. What'd you think?
Um, I I did like it. Um, quite a bit actually. Once Wednesday was kind of off on her own at Nevermore Academy. Once she was there and around her ensemble of people, I think I liked it better. Um, I was left a little flat by like her parents, the portrayal that they had of Morticia and Gomez. Not my favorite versions of Morticia and Gomez. Not that they were bad.
Right.
They fell just a wee bit flat for me, but everything about the ensemble cast there at Nevermore was really good.
Yeah, I think I overall agree with you. Although on a rewatch, I liked Morticia and Gomez a lot more. Although
Fair.
I think I was also more critical of some of the more teen drama writing on the second viewing.
Hmm.
It felt a little more shallow to me writing wise. But the real draw of this show is the characters, specifically Wednesday, the title
Absolutely.
character, and they. But my personal favorite character actually isn't in this shot.
No, she isn't, is she? Or is it a he?
No, it is definitely a she. It's
Hmm.
Enid. Arston Whitebread's only up to episode 3. We won't get into any spoilers at the beginning. I don't remember what happens in each episode specifically, but we're going to avoid spoilers in the first part as much as we can, and still talk about the show as a whole. But thanks for dropping by. Don't forget to like while you're here. I appreciate
Hmm.
you. And Melissa says they thoroughly enjoyed the show. Just small issues with the angst between Wednesday and Morticia. But she's a teen and I can forgive it. Yeah, that is one of the things that maybe bothered me a little bit on first watch, but second watch it made a lot more sense. Was that sort of that tension with her mother?
Right. But I mean, what teenage girl doesn't have tension with their mother? I was a teenage girl and I raised a teenage girl. So,
I was a
yeah.
teenage boy and I have teenage girls, and yes,
Mhm.
it's just a thing. It's a thing that happens. You want to define yourself as separate from your parents, and that's where.
Yes.
And the thing is, we've said this before about other characters, that you have to give them a place to start to grow from.
Right.
Excuse me, to grow from, and that's what they were doing with this character. Was they were giving her a place
To
for
grow.
her character arc to begin.
Hmm. Well, I think it was good for Wednesday to leave the nest, um, to fly away to Nevermore Academy
Mhm.
for the weird and different,
Yeah.
a place where she can fit in and yet stand out.
Here's the thing. I call BS on one thing. She goes to a normie high school, and then she goes to a school full of outcasts, and she is the goth girl. the only goth kid in the whole school. No, sorry, I don't buy it. There's at
Yeah,
least 10 or 12 in every high school. Prove me wrong.
and judging by the size of the school, there should have been at least three. But I guess it's it just it had like a little bit of a flavor like something from the CW.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really did.
Yeah.
Which those shows are successful, so they've got to be doing something right. It did not
Mhm.
appeal to me on every level, but the things that did hit, I really,
Mhm.
really liked.
Mhm. And I'm so glad that Gwen Christie has apparently a deal with Netflix,
Right?
and we get to see more of her in some of these shows that they're putting out. So that was like a big ha. She really stood out as the head mistress.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking up something because I actually had a moment where I was really sort of surprised because I from the promotional material I knew Gwendolyn Christie was in it.
Mhm.
I knew Christina Ricci was in it,
Mhm.
but somebody that surprised me was Ricky Lindholm, who is the therapist.
Oh yeah.
Kinbot is her Dr. Kinbot.
Mhm.
She is part of a comedy musical duo called Garfunkel and Oates.
Oh really? I know
Yes.
those guys or gals or
Yeah.
people. Yes. I was just listening to them on. I've got Sirius XM, and they appear on my Comedy Central radio
Yeah.
quite often. They've got some good stuff. It's really
Yeah,
funny.
they do. They're funny, but I saw her and I'm like, I know who that is. That's
Hmm.
Garfunkel and Oates.
Is that Garfunkel or Oates?
It's Ricky Lindholm. But they are two women who are very racy uh,
Mhm.
musical comedy duo, and it's
Yeah.
really quite funny. I love them, so
Mhm.
I
Yep.
was like, oh, nice, sweet.
Yeah. Google it, guys. You'll like it.
Mm-hmm. Um. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about the title character and the specific journey. We're going to start getting into probably a little bit more spoilery territory now, as we talk about specifics from the plot. But
Mhm.
if you don't want spoilers, I get it. Go watch the show and come back and enjoy this conversation afterwards. Um, and if you don't care about spoilers, here we go. So the show opens, and again, Wednesday is the only goth girl in this high school full
Yeah.
of bland white people.
Normies.
Right.
Yeah. Mm.
Um, and we get the scene. I actually think the piranha attack is a little bit like maybe too far for the story, but if it
She
was
could
a,
use trout.
well, no, I just like if it was a it was a male character that did that to a female swim team, the whole world would be up in arms about it,
Mm.
myself included. Which is why I'm like, I don't know that this made me feel all that great in the moment, but like that happens early on, and we move along. It
Mhm.
is a dark story for sure,
Wow.
and it's not pulling punches; it's gory and whatnot. But she is so like character introduction is very important, and one of the first things we hear her say that's not voiceover. She kind of does her own voiceover as she's
Yeah.
walking into the school, but she finds her brother pushed into his locker, frees him,
Mhm.
gets out his, I want names. Okay, so she's
Yeah.
driven and like vindictive. That's establishing that in her character. And he says, I don't know who they were. And then she says, emotion is weakness, which is actually a huge theme for this character throughout the whole
Mhm.
series. Um, we'll
Her
learn
journey.
later in this episode about the death of her Scorpion Nero and
Oh
how
no.
that hurt her and she cried, but she sort of had this moment of tears didn't do anything beneficial for me. So why bother crying? Hold on a second. John, we love you, buddy. We miss you. And I can't wait for you to be here next week. I usually say this for the mid-roll, but next week, me, John, fingers crossed that Dan will be able to make it. He has a party he has to go to, but the Two Towers 20-year anniversary is next Sunday.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
All the Tolkien stuff happens on my weekends to work, apparently.
Yep. Sorry.
Never.
Yeah. Thank you for the love, Kate. Go watch the show. It's worth watching. Nessie and I more or less agree. It's good enough to watch.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to become stans, but it's good enough to watch for sure.
Yeah. It's binge worthy.
It is binge worthy.
Mm-hmm. Very binge worthy.
But yeah, I just did want to say, John, I love you. I miss you. I hope you're doing all right, brother. And we'll see you next week.
Yep. Thinking about you.
Yeah.
Sending lots of love. Yeah. Got to choreograph that better. I did love seeing that in the show, though. I mean, it's pretty catchy. Pretty catchy.
And that goes all the way back to the television show from the 1960s. And of course, they kind of paid homage to it in the 1990s films. It's been part of the canon, that double snap in one iteration or another. But I really liked the way they used it here. I will back to what
Pugsley and Wednesday. Yeah.
Like in the beginning of her story, she reveals why she thinks emotion is weakness. Her meeting with Enid is very off-putting. Her initial meeting with Enid, but there is that moment where she is comfortable enough to tell Enid the story about Nero, kind of in a way to tell her why don't you ever cry? No, I don't. But like that's a moment where they come to understand each other a little bit better, and that's the first real sort of bridging of the gap between the two of them. And we also see that she's not devoid of emotions; she's afraid of her emotions.
That's probably it, because she is, I think she's very emotional, and it swings to such extremes. That when you see when she's exhibiting anger and like her, just to say the opening, so the swim team scene, that's an extreme. That's one extreme, of violence and anger. And she probably has, she probably does have a terrible temper that she masks with this show of coldness, like extremely clamping down on everything for fear of what she could do.
Mm-hmm.
Which I relate to quite a bit, actually. And I think that it was really great. The scenes we do get with her and Pugsley, even though it's not the best. I had a little brother too, and it was very much the same type of relationship with nobody can touch him but me.
Right. That's how I am with my brother. That's how it was with me and my brothers. Like nobody gets to torture my brother but me.
Exactly. Like I really relate to that quite a bit. Yeah.
But the thing is, what I really love about the character at the beginning of her arc in this season is that it feels like this could be the Christina Ricci version grown up a few years. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but it feels like it could be. Inevitably, there are going to be parallels drawn between this show and the Addams Family films from the 90s, because many people consider them, myself included, to be classics.
Yep.
To be sort of like like maybe they're your default representation of the Addams family, in a lot of people's heads, mine included, even though I saw the TV show before
Hmm.
when I was a
Oh
child.
yeah.
Uh, but so drawing parallels or comparisons is inevitable. So I'm just going to do it. Hi. That's what we do here, whatever the hell I want. Um, but it really does feel like in the films, one of the things that everybody says about the films is about the family dynamic. How not only
Hmm.
Gomez and Tish love each other, but the relationship with their children is very genuine, very giving and loving and supportive. But then Wednesday turns into a teenager, and she grows
Her parents
horns
are
and starts spitting
embarrassing.
fire because that's what teenagers do.
Yep. Her
Um,
parents become embarrassing to her.
yes.
Yeah.
So it feels like the natural progression. It's not the girl we know from those films. It's the teenager that she has become.
Hmm.
And I really enjoyed that I could feel like that was the transition.
Yeah, it did. There was like a lot of continuity with her. Um, you could just about feel Christina Ricci's fingerprint in the way that this actress portrayed her.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I said you could basically feel Christina Ricci's
Mm. Well,
fingerprint on this actress that its portrayal.
yeah, her fingerprints, but not like her DNA per se. Like
No.
it did feel like her own character, but it
Hmm.
felt informed by Christina Ricci's portrayal at the same time.
Yeah, I think she just took that little you know can of hair dye and made it her own.
Hmm.
She put on the uniform and grew up a bit.
But there's definitely homage to the Christina Ricci Wednesday. There is, if you're eagle-eyed during her dance sequence, there is an homage to the Lucy Loring version of Wednesday, who did a little dance in the 1960s
Yeah,
show, that this little foot shuffling thing
yeah.
that Jenna Ortega, let's say her name, Jenna Ortega, you
Jen Ortega.
called it. Uh,
Hmm.
she kind of did that little shuffle for just a hot second in her dance, and I was like, that's cool because I
Hmm.
recognized it.
Yeah, the Wednesday dance gif. If you Google that one,
Right. But
yeah,
now, if you Google Wednesday dance,
you're gonna get the new one.
you're gonna
Yeah.
get the new one, but you can definitely find the old one on YouTube. Lucy Loring is the name of the original actress to play Wednesday.
Mm. I like that we finally, if it's for real, I mean, if it's canon now, the reason behind Wednesday's name. I thought that was a
Uh
nice
huh.
a nice little Easter egg to put in there.
Yeah, I assume it's the day you were born. No, I was born on Friday the 13th, of course. But Wednesday's child is full of woe.
Yeah,
Whoa.
I was born on a Wednesday.
I was born on someday. I don't know
You were
what.
born on a Thursday, Steve, and I checked.
Oh, is Thursday's child full of crap? Because that seems like
Thursday's child has far to go.
oh 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 great. Anyway, having heard, let's talk about this TV show, shall we? We
Be
still
great.
have far to go in this conversation. Um, I really do just love the way they set her up early on and gave her not only a mystery to solve,
Hmm.
but they let her mend her relationship with her mother,
Hmm.
learn to not maybe she's never going to be a smiley, touchy-feely, lovey-dovey person.
Mhm.
But the
She has.
emotional climax of the season is just a hug between two people. But they nailed that scene so hard. I can't say enough good about. I'm skipping ahead to the end of the story, but if you've seen the show, you know what I'm talking about. But there's just a hug, and it is the best thing ever.
It is. I like that they give her some actual, some like real interests. You know, they give her, it gives a lot of like depth to this character. I mean, she's not all about just murder and mayhem. You know, she's a writer. She's an aspiring writer, and I really like that addition to the character. That in a way she's kind of like she's telling her own story, but also that she has aspirations above and beyond being, you know, a homicidal maniac because they look like everyone else. You
Yeah.
know, Wednesday Adams has dreams.
Mm-hmm. She does. That's another thing. Like, at least, so full disclosure, I have not watched any of these animated shows or other attempts at the Adams family
Hmm.
reboots that have come since those 1990s films. So I can't speak to their quality or whatever canon they established for themselves.
Hmm.
Wednesday never had powers before, but I also like
No.
that. Oh, your mother was about your age when she started getting her powers, and it is a coming of
Hmm.
age story, and it's a metaphor for puberty, and your body is
No.
changing, and like it makes sense to couch it that way. And Morticia, like even back in the day, always had some kind of witchy powers. Um,
Right. Um, and her see, her education was from private tutors, but I think it's fine to say, you know, to transition to, she went to private school that you know, worked with people with that are gifted in that way.
mhm.
Yeah, and that's where she met Gomez, and they had a. It's kind of like, oh, is this like it's almost like a little Harry Potter esque.
It is. It's Harry Potter esque, and I don't think that's anything.
I
That
don't think
doesn't
it's,
make it good or bad or indifferent.
no, but you know, kid grows up, kid goes to school, kid doesn't want to be in their parents' shadow, but kid end up going to the school that their parents went to, so immediately they're going to have comparisons and
Right.
whatever things that they have to live up to. And then being called, oh, a legacy student, you know, it's kind of mm, when they're when she, well, we'll get to that when we talk about the society.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Let's. I'm gonna kind of maybe move through the middle portion. I, I'm gonna be honest. The whole teen romance thing, I did not care about. Okay, at
Mhm.
all. I'm sorry if you. I can't really give a fair breakdown of something. I'm just like whatever. Uh,
Well, I don't it's like she had a oh, like there's two offers on the table, so to speak. You know, two offers on the table, and she's like, oh, of course I fall for the one that's the homicidal maniac or whatever.
right.
But yeah, I really I didn't care for the dynamics either. I was more about the friendship that developed between her and her roommate. That was really, really good. The rivalry that was there that turned into a question mark friendship with the leader of the Sirens. Um, and of course
Bianca.
the Bianca, yes, and the depth of, well, the changing relationship that she had with Thing. You
Yeah.
know, I really
That
liked
was fun.
it.
Thing was
Yeah,
fantastic in this. But like her two love interests are like edgy artist who's edgy because edge. And
right.
then And then Coffee Shop Bly, who have you ever seen a show called Ed, Ed and Eddie? There is a
Yes.
character in there called Plank, who is a plank of wood with a face. That is his personality. He is as boring out loud as possible.
Yeah, yeah, it was. And fans of Sabrina the Teenage Witch
Right,
also find Wednesday very familiar. Oh, because of, Harvey the boyfriend who's the normie in town, and then Nick the edgy edge lord of Edgeville in the
right,
special school that they go to.
right.
Yeah.
But I actually kind of love this Enid and Wednesday, or Enid, Wednesday and Bianca.
Hmm.
Either of which I would be down for. Um,
Bianca's got a little bit of depth to her.
She
I'm
does. Yeah,
very
I really
interested.
liked what they did with her too, because she's not just the queen bee. Like she is, but she's not just the queen
Not
bee. And by
just.
the end, like to see them use their powers where they're manipulating people, but to do it
Mhm.
in a way where you're like, you know what? In this instance, I'm totally okay with it. People are going to die if you don't
Yeah.
get them out in a quick and orderly fashion. And of course, it's a power you can abuse, but like if in that type of situation, it's just and it's probably keeping people calm too, which is just
Yes.
I loved it. I really loved that they were able to find a way to make that feel important.
Beneficial. Mhm. Yeah. Yes, without, like, just manipulating people in weird ways.
Oh, I think Melissa is right. Bianca is about to have Wednesday help her take down a cult.
I
Oh,
think that's the problem.
and the kid in town that the mayor's son who kind of like joined the cult
Mhm.
and then dejoined, he didn't
Mhm.
dejoin. I'm calling it now. He did not, and he is also the one who's stalking at the end, sending pictures. He's the stalker. I'm calling it.
Ooh.
It could be him. It could also be the siren guy who got punched in the face and laughed at. He's part of the secret society, but like he was the butt of a joke. He got punched in the thing by face, or punched in the face by thing. Got
Yeah.
shot with a net. When they were downstairs, you're like, you let him in? They'll let anybody in. And he said, like, there's a riddle. I thought we just snapped twice. Could be him as well. Sorry, a little bit of stream of consciousness there, going to the end of the
Or
show.
it could be somebody that we have yet to meet.
Have yet to meet.
But yeah, they left a nice little dangling thread there for next season to get started in. So that's good. Hopefully Netflix will continue.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the viewership numbers for this were through the roof.
Yeah. Well,
Like,
there's a huge cult, no pun intended, following
right. Well,
for these characters, especially this character.
mm-hmm. This
Yeah.
character is very much loved. Very
Mm.
much. Um, Wait a minute. Did you see Lurch's eye flutter when they passed the high driving out in the close of the show? What was that Lurch's power of danger warning or a swap of personality, or is Lurch not a dead Weems? I don't know how to answer any of that. But like it could I missed whatever it is you're referring to. So I think
Have
I need to
to,
go look at that again.
yeah. I'll have to, yeah, I missed it as well. I'll have to catch that again. I'll have to
Hmm.
look for it on rewatch. But yeah, I'd like to have Lurch be something besides the guy who just drives the car and answers the
Right.
door. Right, right.
Yeah. But you actually begin to see her progression of her friendship with Enid almost immediately. I
Hmm.
mean, the first episode ends with them sharing that moment where she tells the story about her scorpion, and yeah, I still think you're weird as shit. The feeling is incredibly mutual.
Hmm.
Like that just defines every friendship I have. you know.
Yeah.
But then in the second episode, they do favors for each other. I'm going to stand in for you at the beekeeping thing, and you're going to help me
Mhm.
win the boat race,
Mhm.
and it works out to both of their benefit. In the moment that I knew they were going to be besties was in the third episode when she's going to go out. Enid is going to go out and meet the stoner guy.
Mhm.
I can't remember his name, but the Gorgon kid,
Yeah, the Gorgon.
and she's like, "Wish me luck." And Wednesday's typing away on her typewriter, but she says something to the effect of, "If he breaks your heart, I'll nail gun his." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay,
Aw.
they're good now. They're good."
Aw. Yeah. I think they gel together because, well, Enid is, yes, Enid is she's a werewolf, but she is so different from the rest of the werewolves in the pack, or what have you you call it there. She marches to the beat of her own stinking drum. She likes pastel. It's fine.
Mhm.
She's conscious of her appearance. She's always getting her nails done. Like I said, she stands out from the pack, and that she's doing her own thing. I like that, and I think Wednesday might like that a little bit too, even though it's like she's totally different from her. She's also a different person. She's doing her own thing. She's
Mhm.
independent, not going along with what everybody else is doing with the popular kids, or this particular clique, or what have you. They're kind of like outsiders together, maybe, that kind of trope.
Right. Well, here's the
Plus
thing.
the beekeeper, also outsider. Um,
I think Wednesday is someone who has always been treated like an outsider.
mhm.
So Enid
Or
is
at least
probably
outside of her family.
right. Enid is probably the first real, genuine opportunity she's had to have someone not view her as a freak and a weirdo. Um, she's built up a lot of emotional barriers to protect herself from those tears. You can't get hurt if you don't feel anything, you know? Um,
Mhm.
but she learns to embrace it to some degree. Not, again, she's never going to be lovey dovey, but I love that part of the message of this story was that engaging with your emotions is good and healthy,
Mhm.
because that's
Yeah,
part of what Wednesday has to learn here.
right. Well, she said it right in the beginning. That was her mantra, and her discovering and feeling her own emotions by the end is a journey.
Okay, this is something I want to talk about because this is maybe my biggest problem with the whole show. Okay, and it's a little bit complicated, so let me rant for just a second.
Okay, rant away.
On Parents' Day, Enid's family is there, and her mother talks about sending her to conversion camp. And this whole like having that as a storyline is okay on some level, but it's very muddy when it feels like being like the idea of wolfing out is the idea of being straight, and it's something that she desperately wants and doesn't know if she can do. Like, I really disliked the way that was messaged. Be, like, it could have been because before and after Parents' Day it was this thing, it was the coming of age thing.
Mhm.
But then you had the parents show up and you sent this mixed message about it being an allegory for homosexuality,
Mhm.
or gender identity, or something to that, questioning your gender or sexual identity.
Mhm.
And it really muddied the waters in a way that I didn't like.
Yeah. They could have used any other terminology, I think, and
Yeah.
it would have been fine, but using the specific word
I don't
conversion.
even know if it's just the terminology, but it really was like, if you can't
The way
wolf
that
out,
it was done, yeah.
if you can't wolf out, like, I've got no prospects for a mate, I'll be kicked out of my family. Like, that's clearly what it's becoming a metaphor for, and
Mhm.
I think it detracted from the show to muddy the waters that way. not enough to break the show by any means, but but I came away from that moment being like,
Ew.
yeah, I just don't like you if it had always been about coming of age or always been a metaphor for homosexuality, like that would have been one thing. But when you have a character who yearns to do a thing and then is shamed for not doing it and want to be sent to conversion camp and want to deny that because it's not a thing, like it's just very messy and I
Nutty. Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah. That could have been handled much differently.
it.
You know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Let's see what chat has to say. Uh, Melissa somehow wonders if conversion camp is a way of learning to eat its eventual coming out, and then it can have my wean,
We did.
my
Wetned.
wedned ship. Wedned, okay, wedned. I like wedned. That's good. Jess says they saw it just as the child wanting to be something in the world that makes their parents proud. Okay, and she saw it as success because she did it on her own terms. You know what? I can see that argument as well. That's why I love this crew. Like I can have my thoughts, and you guys always have such fantastic insights right back at me.
Yep.
Yeah, like unsung hero of that whole episode, Enid's dad. You do you, kid.
Oh yeah. You do you.
Mm-hmm. So Jess never
Mhm.
really took it as an allegory for homosexuality. Okay, well that's fair.
Hmm. It was still the whole thing was still kind of squishy to me.
Yeah, I didn't love it. I didn't love it, but
But yay for Enid's dad.
yeah, yay for Enid's dad. Yay, and by the end, yay for Enid because she wants to wolf out.
Mm-hmm.
She just wants to do it on her own terms.
On
I
her own
think
terms. Yeah.
maybe Jess has like really nailed it. Jess, turns out you're pretty smart.
I hear that.
Oh no, oh no, my wig is attacking me. Okay, I'm sure. I'm sure
As
that's
Wednesday would say, how delightful.
how delightful.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that would be interesting. I like that they have all these weird creatures. Um, my second biggest complaint from in the show is the compositing of the monster effects compositing. Yeah, not that great. Like the CG itself is not bad, but but compositing is sort of like layering it on top of each other so it looks like it's in the same space.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And in like you say, the CG itself is not bad. The creature design is not bad. It's very Tim Burton creature design. The big round eyes.
Oh yeah, yeah. Tim Burton was all over this, so
Yeah, but
you, um so then there's the let's see, the weirdly a normal person teaching at the school. Yeah, that doesn't stand out at all.
right, and it's Christina Ricci.
Yeah. I didn't recognize her at first with, the way they, with the hair and everything, the hair and the glasses and everything. And I was like, oh, there it is. Yeah. She's so tiny. But I
Yeah,
like
are you talking about Christina Ricci's tiny or Jenna Ortega?
Christina.
Yeah.
See
Well,
Christina's
neither one of them is very tall. You're right.
hmm
We need a name that's not normies. I'm with you, Melissa. We need a name that is not normies.
mm
I proposed mundos for mundane people.
hmm Yeah. Well, like it's the commonly called townies, if it's the school versus the people who live in town,
Hmm.
there's that dynamic. But because who is normal?
These
Um,
apparently these kids today are using normie again.
Oh, the show had to be hip. Let me pull out my MySpace and see if I can find
MySpace.
I'm gonna put that on my
Hey
wall.
man, I had a MySpace page too.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah, it would play it would play something by My Chemical Romance whenever you showed up to my
Mhm.
MySpace page. Like that, yeah,
Uh,
real talk.
I got you, Steven.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I got you. Oh, there you go.
Yes, Fred Armisen, I thought was almost an inspired choice for the character.
Yeah, Uncle Fester. That was a little nice little surprise to throw in there. Um, when you can't talk to your parents about things, it's always good to have that, that other kooky family member that you can just relate to in that kind of way. Like when I couldn't talk to my parents about things, you know, I had an aunt that I could talk to, or
Right.
an older cousin, or there was that one, there was someone I had that type of relationship with. So I'm glad that they continued the uncle and niece being cool together type relationship between Fester and Wednesday.
hmm I really like how even in the course of the one episode he was in, she went from Fester, like one of the few times we legitimately see her smile in the whole series. Her face lights up when she sees Uncle Fester. But
Hmm.
by the end of the episode, she's like reading him the riot act. No, don't do that. Don't, like,
You can't
and,
do that.
right. Like it was her asserting herself in her environment. Like he was in her domain, and it's a much more adult way to engage with a person, to have that, like, no, I'm the one, like, don't eat the bees, and I freaking mean it. It's also the same episode where Thing gets nearly murdered, and
Stabbed.
yeah, yeah, stabbed, and Fester has to resuscitate, which is probably the most emotional moment for Wednesday in the entire series, as she's like, "If you die, I'll kill you," and then she's like pounding on the table, and
Right, yeah.
do it
And she
again
wouldn't let
now,
Fester give up on him,
and she says, "Please," in the moment, "Do it again now, please." And that is one of two times in the whole series she says the
Mhm.
word please. And the
Please.
first time it looks like she's being stabbed in the gut when it happens. I Yeah, it's a hand, and it's a necromantically animated hand. But as Melissa says, like, I felt it, which just tells you what a great job the actor who portrayed Thing did. I've seen a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, and it's basically a dude crawling around with a blue bodysuit on, and apparently he is a professional magician, so he's very
So
good
he's
with his
good with
hands,
his hands.
obviously. But yeah, I really did love the Thing. Like, who knew that Thing would be like the compelling character that he was in this show? Like, kind of like R2D2 level of MVP.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Well, I've always had a soft spot for Thing. Always.
Yeah, because Thing used to be an arm in a
In
box,
a box that
and
answered
then
the phone.
mhm, and then
It wasn't until the
in
the, the
the
movies
movies, yeah,
that
in the
he became.
movies he became a disembodied hand,
Yes.
and I think he's probably been that more or less ever since, which is fine.
Hmm.
But I loved this interpretation. This the stitched up looked like he'd been
Hmm.
slapped together from multiple hands or been injured many times. Um,
Very Frankensteinian
hmm And
science project.
yeah,
Like it's one of Fester's science projects that
but like when he bends the knuckle to Wednesday, or like there's a few times where he flips the bird. It's just
Mhm.
funny. It's just he had a lot of personality.
Yeah,
You
I
can
really
tell. Oh, he's pissed at Wednesday. He's just leafing through the magazine, ignoring her. And yeah, it's so funny. Like, kudos
Oh,
to the whole production team, to the vision that wanted Thing to be this character, to the actor that pulled it off, to Jenna Ortega, who's talking to a hand and a
yeah.
guy in a blue suit, like,
To have no lines in the entire thing, to being completely nonverbal character. The
and
creature noticed, yeah, conveyed so much emotion.
being almost uncanny valley. It's not only a disembodied hand, but it's cut up. And I saw a little promotional video they did where they made a remote control thing and they walked around the streets of New York, and everybody freaked out and then laughed and realized what it was. But like,
Mhm.
it's creepy. But
It's creepy. Yeah.
what a great job of storytelling to make me care about the hand, about a disembodied necromantically enchanted hand. Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, you know what? It's too hot. Sorry, y'all. Ooh, I
You've
love
suffered
you guys,
enough,
but
Stephen.
wow, that was it's too much.
You suffered a bit much.
Besides, my hair looks fantastic right now, so.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whew. Okay, so I want to talk about Enid, like just Enid, and not in the context of her family, but the character herself, because she gets a bit of an arc. Um, because I feel like in the early bits, she's a little bit overly emotional. She's a little bit, and some of that comes from her feelings of inadequacy for the fact that she hasn't wolfed out yet. But she's got these pent up things. It's the late bloomer part of the coming of age.
Hmm.
You know.
Hmm. Yeah. It's almost as though she's like overcompensating a bit.
Hmm.
Yeah. Like everything's fine. Everything's wonderful.
Right.
Really, it's not. Like, it's really not that good. Like, you should see my mother. She's embarrassing.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I guess that's something that she and Wednesday bond over as well, as they have difficult relationships with their mother.
Right. Um, but Enid gets the opportunity to sort of self actualize in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Um, we see her, and part of that is that like in episode 2 when they're having the canoe race.
Right. Yeah.
Enid's freaking out when Yoko, her
Mhm.
vampire friend Yoko, has an allergic reaction to garlic bread, which I thought was a really funny, like subtle joke,
Mhm. Yeah. Haha.
Um,
Sabotage.
right?
Like,
And Wednesday
like,
knew that it
what?
was Bianca that did it. Bianca
Like, why
sabotaged
would a
it,
vampire have garlic bread?
right? But she's like freaking out, and Wednesday cares enough to be like, at least says she wants to take down Bianca.
Right, yeah.
And like that's
That's
reasonable.
her motivation, for, like, engaging with something that her friend really wants her to do,
Hmm.
you know? She has to have, like, a motivation, even though
Right.
you kinda
Well,
feel like she really wants to do it.
I don't think she's friends with Enid yet, but she is enemies with Bianca. So like, and that's good
Mhm,
enough.
mhm.
I think maybe the course of this race, she becomes friends with Bianca or
With
with Enid.
Enid.
Yeah, but like we see her in that episode freaking out, not yeah, and but in later in the season, we see her much more calm and collected, much more in charge of her emotions.
Mhm.
Um, and that's the effect that Wednesday had on her. It hardened her up a little bit. It may not that hardening is what she quote unquote needed, but it. I think they kind of did play her as not having great control of her emotions,
Mhm.
at
And
least
that was
early in the season, and Wednesday being kind of emotionally stunted, and them kind of not really changing, but as Wednesday would say, even in this show, evolving,
evolving.
learning from each other
Mm.
to be a little bit more in the middle.
Right, and, that learning to be more in control of her emotions is what actually gives Enid the breakthrough that she needs to wolf out, or however you want to put it, to be in control of herself. That she is able to do it when she wants to. You know, it's like, I'm ready to do it. My friend needs me.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Yep, I'm in control of this.
Yeah, Danny says that this could be a dual costume. It's almost a pilgrim jacket. You are right. Uh,
Interesting choice.
you are mostly right, but um, it's not a jacket. This is a dress. I promise you.
It is. It's cute.
Yeah, it's a cute little dress, actually.
Hmm. It is. It's
Um,
it works great with your form.
hold on a second. Hold on a second. Mm-hmm.
Look
Yeah,
at it.
dress,
Yeah.
baby. I can't really get a good shot, but ooh, I flashed some leg on the screen on the stream. Is that going to get me an extra subscriber or two?
Mayhaps.
I hope so.
Uh,
Yes,
I
that's
was
me.
gonna say, yeah, interesting reference to pilgrims there. Danny just like rolled it right in there.
Look, I'm on stream. I did not put on stockings. I didn't put on pants for this. What makes you think I'm going to put on stockings?
No, no.
Show your feet.
Oh my god. What?
Uh,
Oh my god. Okay.
okay, you ready? Three,
Here we
two,
go. One.
there you go.
Oh,
That's it. That's it. That's all you get.
Steven,
Anything more is going to cost you. Join my
that's gonna get
Patreon.
us some Patreons right there.
The foot picks tier.
Yeah, the foot picks tier. We said we weren't
Okay.
going to have any, hidden content or what have you, but there is a tier probably that you could get pictures of Steven's feet. You don't want to,
Okay. You know what? We have gone completely off the rail, so this seems like maybe a good time to do a mid roll. Don't
a
you think?
taste of feet. Oh my god,
Only my only feet page.
just a taste. Oh my god, is that what it's called?
Oh my
Okay.
god! Please make this happen.
Uh,
Please make this happen.
oh my god, that would be amazing.
I would love to be a foot
A
actor.
foot model.
My feet are ugly, so.
Oh, it's just in
But
the
like, I would do it. I would do it. Hell yeah.
eye.
Okay, let's do a mid roll, shall we? Like,
We're
I'm
we
off
have
in the
gone off
weeds
in the
now,
weeds,
guys. Thank
man.
you for being here to watch us be ridiculous together. That's kind of what we do around here. If you haven't hit the like button, I would appreciate it if you did that now. Thank you very much. If you're not subscribed, I would also appreciate it if you did that. Thank you very much for that. Thanks to the people who are here live right now. Appreciate you guys. Melissa is loud, Danny McKay, Jess Britvek, Potter Ruan. I know I saw somebody. I've seen other people tonight too. People come and go as well. The ridiculous Ed Tollett was here earlier. Kolnitsky was here earlier. A lot of people popped in just to drop some love, but couldn't stay because they hadn't seen the show. People like Kate Bertinsky and
Right.
Guilty
Yeah, I think
Undertaker and
Aaron was here earlier.
Lady Starfall. John Webster was here for a minute. Anyway, we love you guys. Thank you so much. Like, it really is
Arston
fun.
Whitebread. What a name.
Arston Whitebread. Mwah, I loved it. Where we're going, we don't need rails. Thank you, Danny. I love it. But anyway, yeah. So thanks to everybody who's here live, and if you're not here live, consider joining us live for our next conversation because it's always a lot of fun. We do engage with the chat and respond to people. So, and I see Reflecting Rambling just showed up as well.
Yeah.
Hi, Cassie.
Hi, Cassie.
But and for instance, next week is a great week to come back. It is the 20th anniversary of the release of The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and me and John will be nerding out over it. Unfortunately, Nessie will not be able to make that stream, but we're trying really hard to get a couple other like top-notch guests to come in. Not to replace Nessie, you're irreplaceable, but somebody's got to pick up the slack.
Hey, somebody's got to work. I guess it's going to be me.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah.
hey, I mean, if somebody's got to stand in for me, then Dan's a fine fellow.
Yes, he will bang coconuts together for you if you ask him.
He
I've
will.
seen him do it for Nessie.
Yes, I have video proof.
Yep, I can provide a link. It's because it's on the channel called the Unspun Yarn, and it is the Monty Python and the Holy Grail stream, and it's fantastic. You should watch that.
Fantastic.
You should watch that whole thing
Just for the coconuts.
just for the coconuts. But like, if you're a Monty Python fan, go watch it. It's fun. Next week, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers 20-year anniversary is the 18th. So on the 18th, we will be talking about it. It ought to be a lot of fun. Brain logged up. You know what? Patrons, we have them, and they're rad.
Yes.
Like individually and collectively. We love our patrons. They pay for our streaming software. They pay for our Zoom link. They pay for some of the D&D software that I use for other things. So they support like all the D&D games that are played through this group. Yeah, you guys are awesome, and we love you. The great Wyrms, the sort of highest order of dragons in the realm, include the luminaries Ridiculous Ed Tollett, as well as Lord John Bronsteen the Wise. Great Wyrms, dragons of the fiercest power, and second to them, only to the Great Wyrms, are the Elder Dragons, including the Cloaked One of the Underworld, Ryan Stavka, the Russian Quartermaster. Reflective Rambling, this darling right here, this person, she's awesome. I love her. Arch-Maester Emma, Kate, Mistress of the House of Books, Jared Kozal, Doctor of Dragons, Lady Maura Lee of Starfall, and Lady Rita, the Unbound. Thank you to our Elder Dragon patrons. There are other dragons in the land. You may have heard of them. Some of them include Sir Julie Beth of Tarth, Kelly the Jaded Redhead, the Blue Lemons, Emily of the Eyrie, William the Tindalos Traveler, the Guilty Undertaker, Paul, and Allison Kreutzberg. Thank you to all of our dragon patrons. We love you guys. Thanks for taking the financial burden off of my shoulders to keep everything running. I really appreciate it. What else we got? Nessie, you got anything coming up you want to talk about?
Oh, well, yesterday I had my first run through with Call of Cthulhu. It was great. We had a fabulous time. Everyone wants to do more of that, which I'm super stoked about. I've got another team that's going to run the same scenario on Thursday. Looking forward to that. So yeah, if you, hey, people out there, we're talking to you. If you like gaming, if you like role playing games, we do a lot of that stuff in our Slack group. And you can join that Slack group where you meet some great people like the ones that are here in the chat and people like me and Steven. Yeah, and all you have to do is send a message to this Gmail link, and we too will incorporate you into our Slack amalgam, and you could be one with the rest of the hive. It'll be great.
Yeah. Hey man, it's hive code.
Hive code.
I will say, like, Here Be Dragons is not a YouTube channel. Here Be Dragons is a social club that has a YouTube channel attached to it. Come join our social club.
Yeah.
the majority of our interaction happens on our Slack group. We have dozens of people talking every day about Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Star Trek. We have channels devoted to gaming and specific games like D&D and
Mm-hmm. Movie
Meme
night.
channel, Thirst Post channel. Like, yeah, it's our social club. It's our yeah, come join. It's rad.
Yeah, our not so secret social club.
Right. Like it is invitation only. Like there is a rule: don't be an asshole.
Mm-hmm. But that's pretty much it. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah, we're not a secret social club. We are a social club, though. I feel like we have expanded to be that. And but one of the big things we do is D&D. Like
Mm-hmm.
I looked the other day. There are at least 9 different channels for Dungeons and Dragons content. One
Oh,
for
yeah. Mm-hmm.
one for like just a general chat,
Mm-hmm.
one for the game that Nessie's running, one for the game that Jolie is running, one for each of the 3 games that I am running. So like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
come play D&D with us.
Yeah, I'm running 2 games.
Um, what else? What else? Oh, I have something coming up. It is
Oh, yeah,
not
what?
it is not set in stone yet, but I might be a guest on somebody else's stream on the 21st,
Ooh, nice.
doing some D&D inspired stuff. I recently recorded something with Voice of Geekdom,
Oh,
which will be
yes.
coming out in the not too distant future. That is also tabletop gaming related.
I've been looking forward to this.
And you guys have, if you are here on a semi regular basis, you may have recently heard me say trying to get a person to join me for a I know that nerd for a while now, like a specific person I've been trying to get for a while. And I've got them booked for January the 8th. So look forward to, and I'm not telling anybody, sorry. I mean, you'll know ahead of time who it is, but not telling
If you
anybody.
put it out there in the
But
universe
like,
might laugh at
right.
you.
And I think it's going to be something that everybody is really happy about. It's also going to be surprising. Um, I, I, I bet nobody's going to guess who it is. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. I'm not even going to try. I think it'll be great, whomever it is. You've
It's
always,
Henry. It's Henry Cavill.
oh, is it?
I wish. Holy shit, that would be amazing. But
Oh, that would be like our best viewership ever. Oh, whomever you get, it's going to be great because I do love your I know that nerd interviews. That's one of my favorite things.
hmm exactly, mystery. Very mysterious.
Mhm.
I think that's it for the mid roll, though. Anything else you can think of needs to be brought up?
Let's see. We did patrons, we did Slack, we did stuff coming up, we did next week's stuff. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay, great. Um, let's talk about Enid again for a minute. I didn't finish my thoughts on Enid.
All right, cool.
I at the end, her moment of wolfing out and having that moment felt very. It felt earned in the end because it
Hmm.
is something that she wanted, and it had this sort of like my first period thing. Like, no, not now. Now is not the time. But and she comes out of it bloody. I thought it was a bit of a metaphor, but at the same time it was this moment of her being able to actively shape her life, fight directly against the things that were trying to work against her interest and the interest of her friend. I don't know if I'm articulating exactly what I'm trying to say. I hope you can kind of understand where I'm going.
Yep,
But,
she did it for her own reasons.
right.
Not
Well,
because of what was expected of her. It's not because of what it was something her mother wanted from her. It's because it was something that she wanted to do, and it was powerful. It was,
I don't even know if it was. I don't think it was on her own terms because I don't think she chose to wolf out in that moment.
I think, well,
You
well, she
know,
wasn't expecting it, like you said, but
but
once
but
it began, she embraced it.
she embraced it. She rose to the occasion, and I think that's where the real power, um, r- you know, that's where she is actually able to claim power in that scene. And
Mhm.
the life is going to throw things at you that you can't always anticipate, that you're not ready for. But like living successfully often just comes down to you don't get to choose the card. You just have to you play the best you can with the cards at hand.
Right.
And and she used it to enforce her, not authority. What's the word I'm looking for? Agency.
Mhm.
She had agency in a way that she hadn't up to that point. And it was scary for her. And she comes wandering out of the woods naked, except for a coat, which, by the way, I'm a big fan of. When your monster turns into a giant beast, their clothes should tear apart.
Mhm.
It left her vulnerable at the end, which was
Mhm.
really sweet. Really, it was really sweet to see. Is his name? No. What the name of the Gorgon guy that she's kind of had the crush on all season. It was really see the way he like ran up to her, put his arm around her, and was comforting. I thought that was really sweet. And then, of course, it leads us to that hug moment, which is just the best. And I'm not going to gloss over it this time. I'm going to talk all about this thing: the run up, the hug, the putting her hand between her and Enid and pushing her away with the look on her face of like, what the hell are you thinking? This isn't, we don't hug. That is the look on her face. She sees Enid's face full of pain and despair. And in that moment, she chooses not only to let the hug happen, but to make it happen herself.
Mhm.
She chooses that emotional connection in that moment. Wednesday is not a hugger. I'm not a
Right.
hugger. I'm not a hugger. But guess what, Nessie? I've hugged
Mhm.
you
Oh, yeah.
a few times.
Couple
Because,
of times, yeah.
right. And it's because up to that, like, Enid is somebody she realizes she can really trust. And that's what it requires for Wednesday. And
Yeah.
even then, she doesn't want to hug, but I think she looked at Enid in that moment and saw Enid doesn't hug me when I need to not be hugged. And right now, Enid needs this. And I want to do that for my friend. And
Yeah.
probably felt good in the moment afterwards.
Yeah. She made herself emotionally vulnerable for her friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think it was Ajax was the Gorgon I had to look.
Exactly. Yeah, like the soap. I wonder if his real name is Francis.
Oh my gosh. His real name is Georgie Farmer.
No, 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 no. I mean his character. I wonder if his real name is Francis.
Oh,
Well, only certain people are going to get that stupid reference, but that's fine.
I'll probably get it later.
It's from Deadpool.
Oh, yeah.
Can we talk about the music for a minute? John's not here, so it has
Oh,
to be.
John's not here.
Yeah, see, yeah. Hold on. Yeah, Melissa
Mm-hmm.
got it. You got it. Uh, John's not here, so the music hasn't been brought up yet. But wow, there is
It
some
was great.
amazing music in here. Some amazing cello covers of rock and metal songs.
God, I love
Um,
that.
so there is a cello cover of "Nothing Else Matters" by Metallica, which is by a band called Apocalyptica. So I had Apocalyptica's first ever CD 25 years ago. So when I was hearing like these cello covers that they were doing, it made me think of them. And then lo and behold, there actually is a full blown Apocalyptica song in the soundtrack, which was their
Mhm.
cover of "Nothing Else Matters" by Four Cellos.
Hmm.
But
Nice.
the painted black was so good. The moment where she sets the fountain on fire and then she's playing the fast
Hmm.
paced high tension music and like she's
Hmm.
got that smirk on her face, like she's just loving every
Yeah.
moment of what she's seeing. She's providing the exact the exact soundtrack she wants for this moment that she's
Hmm.
engineered.
Yeah.
Uh,
Beautiful. Watch it burn. It's beautiful.
mhm. But she's got just that dun, 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 like that high tension chase music almost. It
Mhm.
was so fun. It was so fun.
Yeah. I love when they use classical instruments in rock and roll scores. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of that. I'm a big fan of
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, and then you have the like even the
Wednesday
songs,
is a mood, okay? Yeah.
but even like the poppy tracks that Enid listens to, like they're
Mhm.
they're very carefully chosen because I think the one that I always think of is like when she's first meeting with Wednesday and she's banging on the typewriter and then Enid turns on the radio and starts dancing. I don't know what song that is, but I'm like, this is the most non-offensive middle of the road bubblegum pop. Like
Mhm.
it's not good enough to be interesting, but it's not bad enough to be boring. Does that make sense?
Mhm. It's background.
Right. And like it's the kind of thing where like it's on in the background and you find your head bopping, but you have no idea what they're talking about or anything. It's
Right.
just got
Like
that.
something like elevator music.
Mm-hmm. But this sort of relationship, this sort of like night and day odd couple relationship, is great fodder for storytelling.
Oh yeah.
But I
I mean,
really they did it really seamlessly with these two characters. Like if Jenna Ortega or oh gosh, I don't know the actress that played Enid. I'm going to find out right now just to make sure because she deserves to have her name said out loud too. You know, uh,
Emma Myers.
Emma Myers. You got there half a second before me. Dang it! But yes, if either one of them falls short, um, it like the whole show doesn't work. That's because
Right.
those two are the emotional core
Mhm.
of.
Yeah. They're the sounding board for the others for the whole series. Their characters are just bouncing off one another and they're sparking each other's growth. They're creating a lot of attention. Their relationship, I guess, is key you know
Well,
the
it's
key relationship in this series, at least this season.
yeah, yeah, I agree, and Melissa agrees with us. Enid and Wednesday scenes were the most interesting and entertaining. Yeah, uh, like I ain't trying to throw shade on anybody, but you could have a different Tyler or a different Xavier,
Hmm.
and like it would be whatever.
Hmm.
But these two young women have a lot of heavy lifting to do emotionally, and like Enid is walking a fine line on her own. Like, let's face it, Wednesday is pretty unlikable on the surface. You know,
Right.
um, cold, emotionally distant. Not, but Enid runs the risk of being like too far the other direction, especially as we see
Hmm.
her early on. Like she has the potential to be unlikable because she's toxically positive.
Hmm.
Uh, but I don't know. It's just Enid worked for me, and I thought I was going to hate her from
Hmm.
when on her introduction. I'm like, oh my gosh, or maybe it was even from the trailers when they met her. I'm like, well, they're not going to get along, and of
Yeah,
course,
it's like,
by
oh, look at this syrup.
right, but of course, I was wrong. By the end of the first episode, they've at least reached some sort of understanding. By the end of the second episode, they have
I
a
mean,
budding friendship, and by third episode, if he breaks her heart, I'll nail gun his.
Yeah. Like I love the line down the room. Okay, that's just
With the
classic.
tape, yeah.
Yeah, classic roommate stuff. That was really great. It's like you keep all your flowers and butterflies on your side, and my side is going to be sparse, gothic, and dark. You keep your happiness to yourself, ma'am.
Yeah, but I do love the sort of like, because at the end, Enid hasn't gone dark.
No,
Wednesday
no.
hasn't gone bright, but I think Enid is a little more emotionally self-assured, and Wednesday is a little more emotionally available. Not a lot. There's still room for both of these characters to continue to grow, but yeah, it was a satisfying arc for those two main characters, and I would watch a show about Enid now. I really would.
I kind of felt the two of them were just like it's like a cat and a dog are trying to live together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even though she's a werewolf. I mean, but that kind of dog energy, positive, positive. I'm and Wednesday is just like I'm a cat. Don't touch me. I'll touch you when I will be the one who does the touching. She puts out huge cat energy, black cat energy, obviously, but very much cat energy. Um, so we never got around to talking about Goody Adams.
Goody Adams.
Oh, Goody.
I didn't look.
Also played by the same character.
Do what?
Also played by the same actress.
I was going to say that is Jenna Ortega still, right?
That is Jenna Ortega as a blonde.
Looked just different enough that I wasn't sure, and I didn't really look.
Yes, she plays both characters. Yep.
Ortega also plays Goody Adams, yes. Where was I?
I don't know. We were talking about
Goody Adams. Like
Yeah.
it was a interest. Like I think the plot of this show is kind of weird, kind of weak. It really is the characters that did it for me. We haven't been shy about saying what didn't work for us, and there were things that didn't work for me plot wise, but Enid, Wednesday, Eugene, my dude, Hive
Code.
Rose for life. Really liked where Bianca ended up this season. I would love to see more of Yoko as well. Yeah, Eugene, my man.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah, I did like Eugene quite a bit.
Yeah, like there's good, interesting characters there. I desperately hope they have a way to bring Principal Wyrms back.
I know. There's got to be something. We have to have more Gwen. I need more Gwen Christie.
Yeah, I saw an interview where she said this is the first thing she's done where she felt truly beautiful while she was doing it too, which is kind of a sad thing to say. And as far as like acting goes, obviously as a model, she's probably felt very beautiful many times. But when you think about Brienne of Tarth and Captain Phasma, and then like Lucifer in Sandman, like she doesn't get to be traditionally feminine. So she, as far as my understanding goes, she really appreciated it. I also liked that she was always in white.
Yes, yeah. She got to wear those beautiful, beautiful white suits. I love that. Like,
which is
it's like, I mean, with just their color palette, they're just they've chosen to put her as a diopose to at Wednesday in this, her diametric opposite, her color wheel opposite.
Yeah, and it's interesting that like she should be contrasted with Morticia. Morticia is black.
Mhm.
Wings is white.
Mhm.
But the contrast between Wednesday is black and white versus color. So it's a different
Mhm.
relationship between the
Yeah.
two because it's very clear Weems did not like Morticia.
Oh no, they were.
Um,
You could tell they. I mean, their history was on full display.
um, I would also watch this show, and can I just say, Morticia, like, look, Goth Mommy is my flavor. What can I say? Morticia, yeah, it works for me. And the young Morticia was hot too. I
Hmm.
what I'm saying is I would let her stab me with a rapier.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, I digress.
Hmm.
I would watch that show too, and I will say, like, given that my default Adams family is the '90s films, all of my associations are going to be sort of centered on that. Like Uncle Fester is the Christopher Lloyd
Hmm.
version, and Raul Julia is Gomez Adams. And when
Hmm.
I see this show has quite a departure from the previous incarnations of those characters. Like this Gomez is not Raul Julia's Gomez,
Mm-mm.
and that's okay. He's
Yeah.
actually quite a lot more similar to the OG Gomez from the Adams Family musical
Television show.
comic strip, who was not an attractive man with a round face.
Hmm.
Um, but
Reggie.
I will say Luis Guzman is a fantastic actor who I love very much
Hmm.
in everything I've ever seen him in. And it's fun to see like the kind of homely guy, but he's just got that charisma turned up to 11, and so he lands the hot goth mommy.
Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt that he is 100% devoted to her and her,
Mhm.
her slave in all things.
Oh, you know what? That is a possibility, and it makes me hope that's not a thing that happens with Wednesday and Enid. I actually hope that Wednesday and Enid. I would love there to be something romantic there because I really think they would make a fun couple.
It would be
Anyway,
very interesting. That would be some interesting
see,
design choices on their shared residence.
Jeff totally agrees with me.
Yeah.
No, nobody paid attention to the fact that she already said "yep, same" before I ever said the thing I said, but it just
Mhm.
means that she knew what I was about to say and was agreeing with me ahead of time. Thank you,
Uh-huh.
yes, for validating me. I feel valid. Nessie, is there anything else you want to talk about? We've got an hour and a half. This isn't a show with deep themes or like
No,
it's doing what it does. I think it does it well. Not everything is targeted at me, and that's fine. But
it's a fun romp in a familiar playground with very familiar cast types.
mhm.
I enjoyed it. I didn't, like you say, I didn't have to do any heavy lifting, thought wise to
Right, maybe
appreciate this.
a little bit when it came to the murder mystery stuff, like who is the monster and who's controlling the monster. All that stuff was
Yes,
there was some of
yes,
that, but
yes. I like the we had the double fake out.
can you remind me who Joel Glick is?
Joel Glick.
I bet Melissa will tell us if we just give her a minute.
Yeah, Melissa.
Melissa, can you
Who?
remind me? I don't remember. I got to be honest.
Mm,
Where? But
um,
like it was enough of a mystery to keep me guessing. I kind of figured it out, but then they threw just enough. Oh, right. Uh,
oh yes, yes, that's it. Joel Glick from the Adams Family to Adams Family Values at summer camp. which we will probably be doing a retro review on very soon.
Sometime. It's a great movie in its own right. So
I
yeah,
mean,
it'd
we
be
just
fun.
Thanksgiving, it was a Thanksgiving movie. So, but
Yeah, it's funny that they're doing like a Thanksgiving play in the middle of their summer camp. That's
yeah,
one of
I
the
always think of it as a Thanksgiving movie for some reason because of that.
well, it is, but like it's
Yeah,
happening during summer camp, which is funny.
yeah, Joel Glick, who was allergic to everything. Yeah.
I do love the scene where they just like go, or Wednesday goes off script and like start setting everything on fire. That's a different show, and it doesn't need to be canon to this show. It would be interesting though if it was, but there is I have no reason to believe that the movie canon has anything to do with this.
Mm-mm. No, there doesn't have to be 100% continuity on this. Um, like not in the fine details, but I do like I would like to see more of the. I want to see this show come back for a second season. I want
Yeah,
to see
I
more. I
mean,
want to see more of this pair. I want to see where they go with it. Give me 3 seasons of this, and that'd be great. Finish out high school, and then maybe I don't know, 5, 10 years from now, show me Adult Wednesday somewhere adulting.
yeah, they tried to make an Adult Wednesday Addams show, and I never watched it, and apparently it didn't work.
Mm,
But it is
yeah,
what it is.
well, let Christina Ricci have something to do with it, and maybe they'll have better results.
Yeah,
You want a Joan Cusack cameo? Yeah, that would be great. Oh, Joan Cusack's a great actress. I loved her.
mm.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've kind of run my course here, buddy.
yeah, I know. We're not looking at deep topics on this,
Mm-mm.
where it's just like a
Mm-mm.
fun romp in Funville, with teenage themes, some angst, a
Yeah,
little bit of drama. It's fun. It's fun. It's a
it's
fun little
fun.
yeah. And they did the snap, so what more can you ask for?
Right. Like there was enough Easter eggs to make it feel connected to everything that came before, but there's also it was original enough to feel like its own iteration. I enjoyed it. I will watch season two when it comes out. I,
Mhm.
I
I sure
rewatched
will.
because we were going to, review it. I doubt
Mhm.
I'll watch it again anytime soon. I've seen it twice. It was fun,
Mhm.
but I think I got out of it what I'm going to get out of it.
Oh yeah.
So once again, loved Wednesday, loved Enid, loved Thing. The rest
Yes.
of it was mediocre to good.
Yeah. None of it was really, really bad,
None of it was bad, except except
except that
like
one thing.
except that one thing, which is I just feel like Tyler was so
Yeah.
boring. I'm like
Uh,
he had
yeah.
he had the personality of a bowl of oatmeal.
I was about to say he was like Wonder Bread.
Yeah, well, yeah, Wonder Bread.
Mhm. Yeah. Even Harvey had more depth.
Mhm. I don't know. I never watched Sabrina the Teenage Witch, but what was his name? Riley from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He was pretty blah.
Vanilla, tapioca.
Yep.
Why is it just like white, tasteless things?
Right.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
y'all. I think that's gonna be it, though. I don't really have anything else. Nessie doesn't really have anything else.
Oh, yeah. Tyler's going to come back as the BBEG for
Yeah,
next
and guess
season.
what? I think that's boring, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the characters that I do like will continue to be likable and fun and interesting, and face
Yeah.
new challenges and continue to grow because that's what I really want out of season two.
Yep. Me too. Same.
I could give a crap about her love life, but like, give me more Eugene, give me more Bianca, Enid, Wednesday. And, like even like I say, even this character right here, this is Yoko, who Enid went to stay
Yoko.
with for a
Yeah.
little while, and who had the allergic reaction.
Yeah.
And
It's the glasses. That's why she's Yoko. That's why
yeah,
she's Yoko with because of the
well, she's
glasses.
a vampire. All the vampires wear sunglasses.
I know, but she does have that Yoko kind
Right.
of going for her. Hmm.
But I'm interested.
And the uniforms are great, by the way.
They really
I
are.
love,
I love
I,
that.
I
That
love these.
almost blue, almost purple is really sharp.
It's one of my favorite colors.
It's a really nice
Hmm.
color.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
really wish they would put her in that color but she's allergic to
Hot.
color. We don't want her flesh
We
sloughing
don't
off
want
her
her
bones or
blemish.
whatever.
No blemish.
Right. But anyway, yeah. Hopefully there's a season 2. But y'all, that's really all I got to say for season 1. Come
Hmm.
back next week to talk about the Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers. It's the 20th anniversary, and I'm excited to talk about it because it's one of those classics. It's not every day. I'm sorry, what?
I said it's the best of the three.
It might be my favorite of the three.
I mean,
But I think it
Treebeard.
is. I think it's my favorite of the three.
It is.
Um, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hope to see you all there. Oh man, I was trying to get through the end without yawning. Uh, I've been I've just been a little tired, and stressed out due to personal life stuff. But
Hmm.
y'all, thanks for joining us. Next week, Lord of the Rings. Week after that, I don't know. That is going to be like the weekend of Christmas. We may not stream. Two
Right.
weeks. 2 weeks from now is the 25th. Actually, it is Christmas Day.
I doubt you're going
Don't
to be here.
on Christmas Day. Probably do something on the 1st. Not sure what yet. And then on the 8th, there's another I Know That Nerd. So we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
New
But
Year's
yeah,
Eve party.
we'll see you all next week for some more of this. And until then, Nessie, do you know what it
Yes.
is?
Peace and be excellent to each other.
Bye, everyone.